Oh, hello. I just came out of the shower and dried myself. But thus far, since putting on this particular hairpiece, this is the custom 0.03mm polyurethane base with a light density, color number 4, medium dark brown. I have decided to try an experiment, and that is I will go several days without yanking back on the front hairline. That means after a shower, I will not instantly go in and start brushing it back, knowing that it's been weakened by the steam and by the heat and by the heat of my body that has been heightened from the temperature in said shower. So for the next few days, I'm going to make sure there is zero leverage tugging on the front hairline at all. So, first day I had it on, and second day, I had the complete brush back look. Absolutely brush back. Gently brush back, might I say. But I will wear my hair brushed back completely, so there's no flopping around. So, there'll be no yanking and no flopping. Mark my words. I will be very gentle with myself on this occasion. Splendid. Okay, so my hair's basically dried now. You can see how low density this hairpiece is. So now that it's dry, I do feel like I'm developing a little bit of sweat along here. I've got to be careful. I really was hoping to have no sweat whatsoever, but my fan is in my car. I'm not going to go get it through here. Ideally, I'd get the fan here coming through so there's some breeze. It's very stuffy in this bathroom. I don't think it really helped that the shower was running for a while. The humidity feels pretty high, 54%. I don't know how accurate that clock thing is, by the way. That's the time though. It's AH81 o'clock. So, I'm gonna use this stuff. It's not the greatest stuff in the world. That's actually too dense as a paste to put in my hair without wetting it first. So, on the tap, so I don't have to touch the tap with my hand like this. Smear it all around. Still too dense, it'll pull back too much. I'm just gonna wet it all. Wet. Lightly with my fingertips first, and then dispensing the palm stuff after. So very gently here, just fingertips, really trying to avoid pulling back in any significant way on the front. It's the gentlest I've ever been with the hairline. But I have a feeling it's worth the investment. So I am going to go for a long walk, and I will be sweating. It is summer now, summer. Australians start summer not on the solstice, but we don't even know what the solstice is here. Was it 23rd of December? I don't know. Anyway, we start on the 1st of January. All of our seasons begin on the 1st of a month. So summer begins on the 1st of December, then it goes autumn on the 1st of March, that's autumn, and then winter begins March, April, May. 1st of June is winter, and then spring starts June, July, August. 1st of September. That's Australian seasons. I think that's unlike any other season system in the world. I don't know why we do it that way. I don't really approve of it. We should probably, you know, obey the solstices. I was thinking maybe I should shave my head, get a hairpiece that goes all the way to there, and then just let that be sort of parted in the middle and the side. But I've never had to worry about people seeing the outer edge before. It could be a problem. All right, I'm not going for looks so much as making sure that I don't tug on the front hairline. So I'm going to use Schwarzkopf Extra Care hairstyling spray. Not out. All right, so that's something that will not move even if it gets windy outside. If it rains, no matter what hair product you use, it goes in your eyes and you start blinking madly because it gets in your eyes, and your eyesight can actually become cloudy. But for now, I'm going to go on a pretty long walk. A pretty long walk. We'll see how it goes. Don't know where I'm going. Maybe I'll bring you with me. Don't know. Just been walking up a pretty big hill. Guess I've only walked about 1.5 kilometers so far. You can see if there's any sweat, I guess. There isn't too much at the moment. Gonna keep walking. So I've just walked about 1.7 kilometers according to Pacer app, or 1 mile and a bit. And I haven't touched my hair at all. I sprayed it into position. I haven't had any need to fiddle with it or anything. My face looks like a dog's breakfast. But I feel if I get healthier, if I get blood flow, if I widen my veins and arteries, which is what I think fitness is all about, so that oxygen can go through to all my capillaries and so on. And also if I can get some more sleep or whatever, or a facelift, it'll improve my appearance. As far as the hairline goes, this is day 3 of having a brush back look, and I think you'll agree there is no dirt or anything. 2 kilometers so far. This is part of my walk, by the way. 2.7 kilometers. I still look very ghost-like, very pale. This is really not a day of going out and saying, hey ladies or some shit. I've got a backpack on. I'm just going for a walk. It's my exercise. I am wearing sneakers. I look kind of homeless. But yeah, I just got to burn some calories. I've got some gigantic chunks sticking out of my belly here, especially on these love handles. I've got to get rid of them. Okay, I've walked 3.3 kilometers. That's just over 2 miles. Feels like a pretty big walk. If you run, if you're a good runner, if you don't have joint issues, like I'm supposed to be having back surgery probably, right? But they cut your bowel right across the belt line, they say, right? Just under there, get a big line. They go in, they move you, they squish your guts to the side, and they go in and they tap in a little spacer in between your vertebrae, because I'm missing a disc. It's all smunched to pieces, right? The alternative is they go on from behind, but that risk, they said there's a 3%, that's 3 jelly beans out of 100, would you like one? Chance of me never being able to ejaculate again. I would ejaculate into my bladder from that point onwards, because it would be fucked up. Because it cut it, right? Sever it accidentally. It's too fine, and the nerves and all that sort of stuff. They could go in from the back, lower back. I don't really mind having a little tiny scar along my back. I don't know how much of my back they'd have to split open to get around the front of my spine, which is where they need to hammer this thing in. will have to cut me in two. I'll be in two halves. Flesh wound, it's just a flesh wound. Yeah. This guy's going the wrong way. Anyway. Yeah, so I've got that, but I haven't got any pain in my back. Serious pain. I mean, sometimes I get serious back pain. Not just lower back where the problem is in the S5L1 or L5S1. Lumbar 5, sacrum 1. I don't remember. I think lumbar is the lower part of your back down there, and then the sacrum's even lower. So it would be L5S1, I think. So there's that problem, but I've also got mainly my pain from walking and not walking very often, hardly ever walking at all, to be honest, just sitting in a chair, is my hips hurt, and I guess my shoulders and arms and fingertips hurt from the cold, but you know, my head hurts from having to refocus my eyes. I'm not used to that either, but at least it's not sunlight. I much prefer this lighting, which is just dead of night. It's about probably 10 p.m. I don't know, but the temperature is really quite nice. It's not cold, but I can wear a t-shirt. You know, my fingertips are cold. Like I would be more comfortable with gloves on or something, but it's not like I'm fucking gonna die. Even if I slept out in the cold tonight, like across the road in the middle where the tram tracks are, I don't think I would die of cold tonight. I definitely wouldn't die. I'd get cold. I'd get sick. Because it's going to get colder than this. But it's nice. And I am sweating. I really don't like this hairstyle, but then again, I don't like this face style. Most predominantly because of my nasolabial folds and my eye bags. But also, when I smile, you can see how much facial fat I've got. I don't want to look gaunt by losing too much weight, but then again, I wouldn't mind if I had a body fat content of, I don't know, what's an athlete got? 10% fat? Body fat? I don't know. If I chewed gum more often and I spoke with an American accent, I would be able to grow bigger facial muscles. Because Americans have gigantic muscles in their face. So you can always tell who's an American. Unless they're a mute, in which situation you wouldn't be able to see because they don't exercise their mouths that much, Bob, in Ohio. So, yeah. But I should probably be chewing gum while I walk. Get some of that facial fat burning some more calories. It's not like it's got heaps of calories in fucking chewing gum, is it? So I should probably chew some gum while I'm walking. But then again, I'm not sure if I can walk and chew gum. It's a lot of things. Anyway. The sweat on my brow doesn't appear to be causing any lifting at the front, and I haven't done any flopping back and forward, giving it leverage in any way to make it lift. So it should be all right. And yeah, if I sleep like this and I'm not picking at my head like I often do in bed, you know, picking back here and picking at the front and so on, if I just don't touch it, it should be good and it should remain fairly clean. And given that it was poly that I just glued on the underside and just stuck it down, there was no glue around the front hairline at all. Because when you stick down poly on the front hairline, it's perfect, right? Unless you've accidentally glued beyond and there's a little bit of glue in a spot here or whatever that you've just accidentally glued into your hair, which is, you know, minor problem compared to lace. So yeah, I'm glad I'm wearing poly. And with a brush back look, I think it'll last for a long period of time. I need it to, because I've only got 4 other hair pieces after this one. And Lord Hair said my last 2 of my 4 custom pieces that I ordered in June should arrive in mid-February, which could mean late February or March. Those custom pieces are going to be French lace because they didn't have proper people to make the poly that I wanted. They'll be 10 centimeters wide by 15 centimeters. I'll get 3 hair pieces this size, front partials, out of each one, so that'll be 6. Until then, in the meantime, I don't know how people afford. Seriously, I was contemplating getting a full topper because when I look at the top of my head and so on, I contemplated getting a full topper the other day. Just thinking, what would be the situation I'd do that in? Or that would require me spending about $200 if I bought one hairpiece, right? Obviously, the price goes down as you buy in bulk. And you'd be mad to buy just one, because you never need only one hairpiece, do you? You need multiple hairpieces back up, right? Don't ever have less than 3 hairpieces. Probably don't ever have less than 5. That's why I feel like I'm having a shortage right now, right? You should probably have at least 5 hairpieces at all times, so you don't feel panicked by the whole situation. Like, they're not going to be $200 each if you buy them 5 at a time, are they? They're going to be like maybe $170 each, given that Lord Hair's stopped doing the 6-pack deal. The 6-pack was $699 American, including delivery. So let's say $700. What's that equal? About 120. 5 for 120 is $600. 5 for 120 is $600 plus the extra on, make it $720. So for the 6th one, so it would be about $116 or something per hairpiece for buying 6 of them. I'm not sure if it still works out that way. And don't forget, you've also got that 20% discount coupon code StickOnHair that you put in the lordhair.com checkout. You have to be logged in, and you can only use it once for the account. You can't use it more than once. So if you did that, 20% off 700 is $140 off, which would equal $560. So it'd be $560 for 6 hair pieces in the old days, but I'm not sure what it would cost now. So that's a better deal. That was the S22 unit, the 0.03mm poly. I'm not sure if that was just an introductory offer, because it hasn't been around for months. But also now there aren't enough hair pieces to even be sold at all because of COVID. They're just selling what they've got on the shelf, and I don't know if they're making them fast enough with their replacement stuff, or there's some problem with importing into different countries now with COVID restrictions and time delays and potentially more tax. I don't know what the hell's going on. But Lord Hair got their hairpieces made in Korea, I think. And for some reason, those people have stopped making them. But I was able to order one, but I guess there's just a backlog at the moment, and hopefully as COVID starts clearing up. In Australia, we've got 0 cases. In Victoria, in my state, we've had 0 cases for 28 days. That's cases. Not a single person in this state has been recorded to have COVID-19 in 28 days. In America, United States of America, I've heard it was something like over 200,000 new cases a day. And I think they've lost over 250,000 people dead. And apparently in America, one person not only contracts COVID, but dies from COVID every 30 seconds. Right now. So if we're looking at, that's probably the worst case scenario. America has managed COVID the worst, apparently, in the world, I think. They've got the highest death rate in the world for COVID because there was no enforcement of mask wearing or any other thing. We had mandatory lockdowns. We had to wear masks and everything. The highest number we got up to was about 750 in the state. 750 cases. I don't know how many people have died in Australia, but it might be less than 300 people. That's bad, but it's not 250,000. Even if you extrapolate the 25 million population here to, what do you got in America, 320 million? You can't, okay, what's 320 million divided by 25? Okay, 25 is 4, 12 plus, so 13 times. If we multiply 13 by 300, that's 3,900. So let's just say 4,000. 4,000 would be the equivalent amount of deaths we would have had if we had a population the same as America. 4,000 deaths. America's had 250,000 or more deaths. That's absolutely, that's basically murder. I mean, who was in charge of all of that? Was Trump in charge of all that? He's responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths. 3.9 kilometers. .3 kilometers. I'm just looking at myself in the mirror here. because I look fucking ugly as fuck, man. That's what I look like to myself, by the way. That reflection. Not this handsome devil. No wonder I fucking think I'm so ugly. In the camera I look fucking beautiful. Look how fucking fat I look. And homeless. So a tiny bit of shine happening up here. This is not my preferred hairstyle, of course. I just feel like there's a lot missing. Too much haggardness, and just a brush forward look would have been better. Anyway, I'll continue the experiment. The experiment is simply to show you. The experiment is simply to show you that not fucking around with this bit leads to a better outcome. I'm in Collingwood at the moment. This is a very kind of dingy part of Melbourne. We don't have anything like a violent area really. That would be sort of like Dandruff or something. I'm still kind of close to the city. But there are a few drunk people staggering around the streets, you know, homeless people and so on. A few Aborigines around who are usually homeless. But they seem like they're just begging. They're not really going around attacking anyone. They'll take your shit if you leave it unguarded though. So I've got to keep my backpack under the table where my feet can feel it. I've had 2 beers in this walk so far over a period of I don't know how many hours. Yeah, continue walking that away. Double chin and good. So I've walked 4.9 kilometers near at Brunswick Street, Fitzroy. All of these main bars seem to be closed. 4.9 kilometers is just over 3 miles. I'm gonna look down that way, see if I can find a bar, buy more beer for my double chin. I feel like I've burned it. You know, the Pacer app is telling me all of this. I think I've walked 7,000 steps to get here, 4.9 kilometers. It says I'm only active. It doesn't say I'm doing well. I mean, I think if you do less than 3,000 or 4,000 steps per day, you're sedentary. I do usually about 5 steps a day. Off the chair to the bathroom and back. Maybe there's 10 steps, I don't know. But it's definitely not above 100. So I'm averaging less than 100 steps a day over the last maybe 2 years. This is a lot for me. But I don't think that this one event is going to make me fit straight away. I'll lose all my guts. But it'll make me feel more energized hopefully tomorrow, unless I'm sore, in which case I probably won't want to exercise. It'll put me off for another couple of weeks. But I should at least walk around the block once a day. You should too. Okay, so I've just clocked over 5 kilometers. I can see some bars up ahead. Some of them are pretty packed actually for a Sunday night. Most bars are kind of closed, COVID closed. This is a good street for vegetarians. I don't know if I want to go in and rub shoulders and stuff with a whole bunch of people right now because I don't feel like I'm looking my best. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of money. I've got a backpack on, I've got to walk through a crowd of people. Might be a bit of pain in the ass. And if you think I'm walking all the way back 5 kilometers, get fucked. I'll be getting an Uber. So, I might go in for 1 beer. So. Either this one or this one. I just did the shopping a couple of days ago, but I'm going to limit myself today after that 5-kilometer walk. Often what I'll do is I'll come home and I'll just try and find some chocolate or something. This time around, I'm going to have liquid only. So this is protein powder. And this is vegetable soup. That's got some chunks in it, but it's not gonna squeeze out my stomach like a balloon filled with rocks. It's gonna fill out my stomach like a balloon filled with water, basically, chunky water. And then what's going to happen is my stomach's just going to squeeze it. First of all, my stomach's going to tell my brain I'm full, right? Because I'm going to bloat myself. And then it's just going to squeeze straight into my bladder. There'll be hardly any food to permanently push out the lining of my stomach, causing the elasticity to stretch out, requiring it to feel stretched each time to make me feel full. And because of the lack of pressure on the elastic stomach, it's going to shrink the stomach. Overnight. Tomorrow, I won't be as hungry as I was today because my stomach will have shrunk permanently, semi-permanently, to a size that's, instead of like a watermelon, it'll be more like a soccer ball. So I'll only need a soccer ball's worth of food that day. The day after that, I might end up being more like a freaking rock melon. And after that, within about a week, if I continue doing this, my stomach will be about the size of an orange. Now, people who have got, what's it called, where their bones are sticking out through their skin? Not arthritis, it's anemia, not anemia either. Anorexia. People with anorexia, their stomachs might only be the size of a golf ball. They only need a golf ball's worth of food, and then they feel full. So the smaller you can make your stomach lining in terms of elasticity, the less food your brain needs to feel full. Your stomach will, once it's got pressure outwards from the stomach, the brain says, okay, you've had enough now, thank you, that's it. And you'll think, what about after it empties? No, the brain has sort of got a timer on it. It knows that you ate. So there's no need for fasting, just go on a liquid diet. Trust me. Salt and pepper, that's my protein shake. And I'm gonna use a little spoon as well. So that soup and that drink, the thick shake, milkshake, has filled me up. I'm not even hungry. I'm thirsty, probably from some alcohol. Maybe I'll have some alcohol to pass the next few hours. It is only upside down L-E-E-S. Let's just say Lee's o'clock. So the hairline has no dirt. I wish this could automatically focus really close up for you. Can you get any closer? How's that? Is it blurry? Can't do any better. Anyway, with my eyesight, I can't tell where the hairline line actually comes in. I can see a slight diagonal line there, right there. It's very hard to see. The main problem, of course, is that the knots underneath the skin, even if they were bleached, bleach would not penetrate down into the parts that are underneath, that are hooked in underneath the skin. And you can see those little lines going. So even at first glance, looking at my front hairline, it does appear that there's something wrong right along there. I'm not going to do anything to cut any of that out. Okay, so I've got a first bit of dirt, I see, just there. See that? There. Gotcha. There's no other dirt. I've done no lifting. After the shower, I waited for 15-20 minutes until it dried before I brushed it. I put hairspray in, so there was no chance of flopping forward, even though it was fairly windy. My hair didn't blow around, and I haven't brushed it forward in any way, so there's been none of that. So this is day 3. Well, now in about 20 minutes it'll be day 4. I think this is the ultimate way to take care of your front hairline. You start with poly at the front. Probably better if you have lace at the back for blending purposes with the perimeter. but definitely you want 0.03 millimeter poly. If it was thicker than 0.03 millimeters, I don't know if 0.05 millimeters or 0.08 millimeters matters. I've never really tried it. It doesn't sound like it would matter. But the more you have thickness, the more you have shadow right along in a line across the front. This is more or less undetectable. The only thing detectable, of course, in all hairpieces are the roots. It has been said to me, and I agree, you should start with a blonde hairpiece and then dye it your own hair color. The other good thing about this not being my actual hair color is that having it brushed back like that is the best way to blend it with the rest of the hairs on my face. Gee, I'm starting to get sick of these lines here, that one and that one. It can't be impossible to remove them, can it? Smiling, smiling, and then down. Okay, I can never get rid of that. There is apparently a way to do a little massagey thing. 50 on that pressure point right there. 50 of these little circles with your finger. Actually, in the example they showed you, pinky finger, so it'd be more gentle. And then apparently that brings more blood flow to that area and drains it, apparently. So in the video that I saw, was some Asian lady going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When we say Asian in Australia, we generally mean Oriental. We're not talking about Indian. I think in England, they say Asian and they instantly think people from Pakistan, Pakistanis, because they have such a huge population of Pakistani people living in England. Which does seem strange that one country would flock to an English-speaking country like that. We don't have a lot of Pakistanis here. We do have a lot of Indians. We have a lot of Chinese. So it seemed like 20 years ago was a massive influx of Chinese, and then 10 years ago there was a massive influx of Indian. And my first girlfriend was half Chinese, so it's not like they just started coming. And my best friend from school, he was half Chinese. And like, I guess there were some kids at school who were probably full Chinese, who'd come from China, but nobody had any problem with English. They all spoke 100% English. They're totally integrated into schools. When I was a kid, the 1970s, 80s, I can't really say 70s, I was born in 1977. My first memories are probably from when I was 3, so I don't remember the 70s. There were remnants of the 70s, like flares were around when I was a kid, and there were a lot of hippies in my neighborhood, and I went to a village school, and apparently all the grown-ups were smoking weed and stuff. There was a lot of community togetherness within the neighborhood. I was actually raised a hippie. There was a fair bit of nudity. Not just like toddlers, grown-ups were naked. Pubes and everything. I haven't been that way inclined in terms of running around university campuses in the nude. I've known some friends, even in the last, in the university days. I never went to a very social university though. I missed out on all that. Because I went late, I went away on exchange. So that was my proper year after school. Anyway, front hairline. Undetectable, roots detectable. I have bleached this front part, but obviously I couldn't bleach in underneath where the V goes underneath. So that bit there, I couldn't get that bit there. And that's what is dark in little lines going across the front. With knots, it's much harder even than that. Obviously in the previous example, in my most recent time, I bleached the knots of a lace piece. I just bleached along the front, the same way I do with poly. It's a habit now. What I should have done is flipped it over and bleached all the underside. But it doesn't matter. I bleached significantly in that it should have bleached the knots from the front as well. but it didn't work. Knots are just too big to bleach properly. If you are wearing lace, you are going to have knots, and you must get blonde, probably. I haven't. I've got two 15 by 30 centimeter rectangles on their way to me right now. They're both French lace. What I wanted and what I would still order right now, if I had the option and it was fully not COVID days, and it was the same price, and it is the same price, it would have been poly 15 by 30. This is poly 15 by 30. This is probably light density. Pushing a bit towards medium light density, I would say. You can see into the scalp in a bad way. The way I've brushed it, it's all back over itself, so it's hard for you to see through and into the hairs. Medium density, I prefer to give proper coverage, both back and front. I think there's a trustworthiness that comes from a brushed back look. Also a kind of an air of success that comes from a brushed back look. My brushed back look is a bit messy. It's like it hasn't been done with a brush, for example. But I think the thinning scissors actually do help me in a way. Once this grows back here and here, I don't really want it to though, because that's bright. Like I've said to you, I've got this stuff, right? I've got this stuff. Targets the grey for a natural look. I don't know how it would target grey. I want it to target the grey and the red. So I've always had, well, I grew up with very bright red hair when I was a kid. It got a bit more auburn, and it's probably actually auburn now. This is medium dark brown that I ordered, so it blends fairly close. I think I've almost got dark brown hair, mostly. My beard though is still red. My arm hairs are orange. So I'm still a ginger. Don't you say it, it's offensive, I'll say it. You should listen to that Tim Minchin song called Prejudice. I can't remember the words. A word that causes so much pain and suffering in the world has an N, a couple of G's, an I, an E and an R. It's ginger is the word he's talking about. You should watch it, it's fucking funny. Prejudice. Alright. So, if I'm going to dye that, it wouldn't just be to get rid of the greys, it would be to get rid of the red and the greys, so that I get a more of a uniformity happening. There's also, I'm hoping that if I did bleach it, dye it, it would have the effect of softening the greys. In my imagination, grey equals scraggly, sticking out like that on the sides. Thinning scissors might have solved that problem if I can continue to do it well. But as you can see here, there's a chunk there that I cut past, so I cut deeper with the thinning scissors there, etc. So it's not like an even thing to do to use thinning scissors. I might potentially just have to figure out a length to use the clippers here, but then I don't want it to stick out. It needs to have some length to it in order for it to be brushed back. Look at, who's the fucking guy who hosts Colbert? Stephen Colbert. Look at his hair. I love his hairstyle. He's got a great full head of hair as well. But the whole way, if you looked at his hair, it would probably come out to here, right? Probably be 5 inches long, around. And then he just brushes a whole lot back and it's got a natural curve. He's got perfect hair. Stephen Colbert, have a look. I can't remember what time I got home from that thing. It might have been 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock. I've been lying in bed trying to get to sleep since then. It's now 18:43 or o'clock. taken about 6 sleeping tablets. I just keep thinking of all the people who betrayed me and how bad it's been, etc. Watched a lot of documentaries and things just sort of in the background, which when I say background, on the ceiling, just my projector's facing on the ceiling. Just trying to lie there and then listen to the headphones, and then finally they ran out. But they didn't run out, they broke. The headphones broke, so I had to play it through the loudspeaker television thing. They didn't help me get to sleep. Nothing matters anyway. And as for that fucking trying to just survive on liquid for a while, I feel like I need some stimulation in my brain. So luckily, I searched through the cupboard and I found this. And this. So I'm gonna break my little rule, because otherwise I'll go fucking crazy. But it looks like the hairline is still intact. When I'm lying in bed, it's a habit of mine to actually play with my hair. Always, like every night, every day. So I just took another 2 sleeping tablets about 20 minutes ago. Hopefully they'll kick in enough to put me under this time. I did watch a documentary on anesthetic and how it came about from people who experimented on themselves. Start with a traveling fair. Somebody called Wells, I think. I think that was the guy. He might have been the second one. He came across nitrous oxide. It was he was somebody who removed teeth. You know, it was done by barbers and blacksmiths in the old days and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna eat both of these while I'm lying down, looking at the ceiling, watching any leftover television pumping out through the internet. And maybe continue watching the history of Europe. I'm up to a lot of episodes. I've been watching a lot of... Anyway, my hair's fine. It's day 5. I just woke up. It's about 6:40 in the morning. I eventually fell asleep last night. Feel like shit. My back's killing me. Where's my... Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, I'm an old man now. I'll put this on my back. Anyway, have a look at the hairline. Sunlight. Morning sunlight. Still good. It's good. I've been sitting here playing Risk for what seems like 1 hour. But it's actually been... I think I woke up at 6 a.m. It's now about 2 p.m. About 8 hours I've been sitting here. Depressed. At least I've got alcohol. Okay, so it's now past 5 p.m. I think it's 5:30 p.m. I've just been sitting here non-stop, just drinking alcohol. As you can see, I'm completely unaffected by the alcohol. You might say it's not enough, but the other day I had an entire bottle, 1 litre of Johnny Walker Red, and that was over a period of about 5 hours. That should do the trick, shouldn't it? I'm fucking immune to that shit. I don't know why. I want to feel something, but I can't. It gives me some kind of feeling like I'm doing something to have alcohol. My immunity started when I was taking antidepressants and antipsychotics years ago, when I put on all the weight, because it makes you really hungry to have antidepressants and antipsychotics. I don't take them anymore. They admitted that they'd misdiagnosed me for all the different things that they thought I'd had, and that I was probably right, that I'm heartbroken. So I just look out the window, play Risk. If I can fix my hair. I should get up, have a shower, and go and rehearse my music and finish writing my book. All that whiskey and coke made my tongue black, so I had to just come in here and wipe my tongue so I felt a bit better. Probably rinse my mouth out as well. The reason I'm bringing you into the bathroom with me is seems very intimate, doesn't it? Is because I'm going to brush my hair back because I don't like knowing that I'm this fucking ugly. When I came to do my tongue, I saw my fucking hair and I thought, Jesus. So if anything goes wrong, this will be the occasion that it happens, right? So back there I was pulling hard, but here I'll be a bit more gentle. There is still hairspray in my hair from yesterday. I haven't had a shower. I can't really be bothered. I'll be very careful here not to lift it. So here I'm brushing sideways, so I'm actually getting the maximum amount of pull. Here it feels like it's probably going to lift if I do pull on that. So really gentle. This is day 5. I haven't really sweat very much at all over the last 5 days. And because I was careful, I was able to maintain that front hairline, which is very good. Usually I'm very uncareful. How is uncareful another word? Every antonym should have an un or D or re. Shouldn't have to think of whatever the fucking opposite of careful is. Alright, careless. But I wasn't careless. I mean, the opposite of careful is not careless. Careless implies that you don't care at all. Don't care, right? Uncareful means that you weren't being careful enough, I think. Every phrase requires a numerical value. We need more word equations. This will help us get to the bottom of all arguments, figure out who's right, who's wrong, who's more close to the truth in an argument where both people are wrong, etc. In a court of law, this person committed an offence. Why? Because the other person provoked them. How many points of provocation does that equal compared to the retaliation? That person raped my daughter, so I threw acid on his face. Okay, well, no acid is worse than the rape. Rape is worth 50 points. See, if you're going to do mass murder, if you're going to commit mass murder, like if you're going to go to an island where there are people who are not immune to the measles and wipe out their entire race, commit genocide, that's worth more, I would say, than 100. If you're going to be careless like that, see, that's almost like manslaughter. Though manslaughter and murder are often very, did he try to not shoot her in the face? No, I think if somebody lets you down in a way that you could reasonably say, if they cared about me, they would have not done that, then potentially you would say that person deliberately hurt me. You might as well just say deliberate, maliciously. But there is an apparent difference. Like if somebody's just texting while they're driving and that sort of accidentally drive over somebody, that's not murder, is it? It used to just be lipstick in the mirror and then they drive over somebody. Now they've got mobile phones. You know, I feel like I wish there was a government or something that could be held accountable for the lack of technology. Why do we still need to drive, given that the technology exists for cars that drive themselves? Or the government could have built a rail system where everybody has their own individual pods that go to their own coordinate destinations, and that everyone can just jump in one and just go and then get out when they get to the destination, and it just drives and parks itself and does what it needs to do because it's a proper transportation system. If somebody's having to do their lipstick in the mirror while driving, whose fault is that? The people who did not invent the driverless car. It's their fault. Who is that person? Those people. Every single politician, member of government in the world is in fact a person, which sucks. There's nobody in charge, really. It's just we, the people, let people be in charge of us. And then we get angry at them when they don't do it correctly. Human error happens all the time. All right, well then in that situation, you're gonna have to blame the people who made the roads, the people who, okay, we'll just blame the bitch who's doing your lipstick, all right? Whatever his name is. So, murder. How many points would that be? I would say you've got to differentiate between unprovoked murder and provoked murder. That guy raped my daughter, so I killed him. Did you kill him with a lot of pain or was it quick? It was quick. Shot him through the brain. He didn't know what hit him. He didn't even see me coming. He had no fear, Your Honor. Well, if we just look at the chart, we'll see that that type of murder is only a 75. Malicious murder, where you've hunted somebody down and you've said get on the bed and then you strap them down and then you start removing teeth, pulling out eyeballs, cutting off genitals, cutting off arms and legs so they're just like a fucking mannequin who's lost its arms and legs, and then pull out their eyeballs and then shoot, and then put headphones on at maximum decibelage so they'll go deaf until blood trickles down their ears because their eardrums have popped. And so now there's this thing. You've cauterized all the wounds so they don't die. And then you don't even need to bury them alive, really, do you? You just drop them off at the hospital, right? That's if they killed one of your family members, maybe. Or if they did this to you one time. Fuck you, dickhead. Or I don't agree with you. That's fair enough. The judge would go, well, according to this chart, telling someone to fuck off and you don't agree with them, that's worth 80 out of 100. So therefore, the slicing off of the limbs and so on is worth 90. We were going to give you life in prison, but given that it was only retaliation and not provocation or an unprovoked malicious attack, we'll give you 6 months in jail for that. I mean, you haven't killed the guy, have you? He's right there, lying on the witness slab. You didn't even need to confess. He wouldn't have even been able to say who did it. You're an idiot for even confessing. So 6 months in jail for being honest. In fact, we'll take off 3 months because you were honest. So 3 months in prison. He shouldn't have told you to fuck off. You think it's a fair system? No. Okay, my numbers are off a little bit. Maybe a little bit. Okay? But the system needs to be numerical. And communication with each other should be numerical also. We are fucking apes. We're supposed to be running around. That's how we lost our hair, by the way. I found out the other day. We lost our hair. We're the only apes. We're the only apes who are not covered from head to toe in fur. We've got some fur, right? Here and here is weird spots. But then you look at the mane of a horse, like, why has he got a hairdo? Like, well, I'm a fancy horse, I've got a fucking hairdo. I think I'm Elvis Presley. Right? Horses think they're so cool. And dogs with their floppies. We made them, though. They're cute. But yeah, the reason we haven't got all the fur all over our bodies, it's not because we became upright and used opposable thumbs, it's because we were running until we exhaust the animal, we're chasing animal. That's what animal we were. We were running through the savannah just for 5 hours at a time just a team of us, just ganging up, go around the outside, flank him. Right? And we just chase around a gazelle or something until they get tired out, and then we'd throw rocks at it first, and then later on we invented sticks, and then we sharpened the stick. And I saw an experiment, and so by the way, that running with fur, the people who ate the gazelle, the people who ran, those people could run further and better because the fur, the less fur that they had, the less the heat would be trapped in there by sweat sticking to the fur. Because animals do sweat as well as panting to get rid of the heat. But over millions of years, a lot of the ones who died out would be the ones who were too furry, right? And maybe in a lot of situations, it's just one family who succeeds in getting the food. Everyone else fucking dies in times of, micro ice ages and famine, and there's not enough food and all that sort of stuff. And one family has survived. This family has survived because it wasn't as hairy as the other ones. Ha ha, you're not as hairy as us. Oh, weirdo. Oh, where's all your fur? Ha. They were just really saying, ugh, 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 ugh. It's the only word. I mean, the guy's name was Ugg, but so was his wife and children. Their names were all Ugg. Let's be honest. So they didn't have as much fur as the other Uggs, okay? And so they lost their fur. They bred with each other, obviously, the brother and the sister, and the mother and the father, and diagonally and crossways, and whatever knights do. Diagonally and then one. I'd say that's the father with the daughter, and then the sons, and then the mothers. So that's how Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and all their sisters gave rise to the next generation. It seemed fine with Adam and Eve, didn't it? Because it wasn't like they were brother and sister. Even though Eve was made from Adam's rib, it's not like we have one odd rib. Did we have more ribs? When they say rib in the Bible, do they mean ribs? Did we initially have more ribs? And then God went clonk and said zap, right? Why did he have to make Eve out of a rib? Why couldn't he just use dirt like he made us men? Careless. I've got to get the fuck out of the house, don't I? So I remain sane. Risk is fucking driving me crazy. I sat there just then from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. That's 12 hours of playing Risk. And I intend to go back and get revenge, but each game has new people. Who am I getting revenge on? You've got to watch history. It's amazing how relevant it is, and the way people complain about their lives. Even me talking to you right now, even if there is an audience that people watch me right now, and people who talk to you, you're just going to die. They're going to die. Everyone's going to forget every single little fucking thing we're doing. At least there's some video record of this until the hard drive gets bad sectors and the magnets go, we don't remember anymore. Well, nobody fucking built a machine after the robots take over the world and then the asteroids hit the planet. They can read this information and it just decays. And then the aliens who come in the year 4581, they can't figure it out. And besides, they weren't here to fucking study the primitive creatures from this not very interesting planet. They're just here to take some of the pre-made water. Suck the planet or all its water, whatever other resources they want off the planet. I mean, what's Earth got that other planets don't have? Carbon. A lot of carbon. A lot of grasses and animals and plants and things that have squished down and become oil. Even after we've thrown all the oil into smoke and then it has to trickle back down through the atmosphere, it still required creatures, organic matter, to create that stuff. Rock does not produce oil. Dead animals and plants do. There are no dead animals and plants on any of the other planets that we've found. But given the likelihood that there are so many animals and plants throughout the universe, it doesn't seem like a big deal to come to Earth to fill up your, plug your spaceship nozzle into the planet, go and refuel before. Just use the sun, build a Dyson sphere or something. If you've got the technology to travel between stars, surely you can find a better way to fuel your ship. Energy is abundant. Just take it from the sun or whatever star you're passing by, drive up next to a black hole and go whoop, 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 right, and refuel or whatever, I don't know. Whatever they do. Those who travel between stars. At any rate, we're not going to be remembered. Look at some documentaries about history. Okay, so there's a bit of shininess there. It's not sticky in any way, so that's good. It means I glued it accurately on the bottom. That's the top of my head. It's the back of my head. But the main thing I'm trying to make sure lasts longer than usual is the hairline. And I'm going to achieve that by not fucking around with it. I just decided to stop playing Risk after 13 hours. And I look like I've been playing Risk for that long. I'm going to have a shower. I'll show you if I lift the front at all. Bit of shine there. I don't even want to tug on it a little bit. Even now while it's dry. What's that? Just a hair. Alright. Okay, so I've got out of the shower. And now I'm just going to let this dry on its own without too much touching it. Just like last time I was awake 2 days ago. I was thinking about getting contact lenses, but they say it can get caught up underneath your eyelid, and right now I've got something in my eye. When you get out of the shower, you can see yourself in the mirror. If you're fucking fat, you've got to go for a walk, and that's what I've got to do tonight. It's 6 o'clock. So maybe I'll go after this dries. Might as well get dressed. 23:40. I just played a really, really long game of Risk. Whatever time I left you until now, that's how long I've been playing. Look how low density this hairpiece is. Can you see the colour difference while it's dry? So I didn't pull back on it at all. I'm always reluctant to, not always, just during this experiment. This is day 5, nearly day 6 of not messing up the hairline. Being so gentle with it. All right, so let's have a look at the color difference. Can you see the difference? The hairpiece is here and that's my natural hair. And this is all scraggly because of the thinning scissors. All right, so I need some paste of some sort. I'll just put in some frizzies. This has got no hold. It's just gonna allow me to push my hair back into position. You just need a pea-size amount. The size of a nickel. I'm just imagining how everything would translate. In Australia, you'd say, you just need the size of a 5-cent piece, that's all you need, it'll do your whole head. No, I don't think that has ever been of any use whatsoever. After they say that, of course, they always get a second handful. I'm talking about hairdressers. I haven't been to a hairdresser for a long time. In fact, it was illegal to go to a hairdresser for about 9 months in Melbourne while we were under lockdown. But we got our COVID cases down to 0. That's good. So now we're allowed to walk around without a mask on, outdoors, not indoors. Obviously, you've got to wear a mask. But I think soon they're going to allow us to just sit in a bar. Usually the rule in a bar is, or a restaurant, because they have a capacity of 10 people or whatever it is they're allowed to have. Normally you've got to sit there and have your drink. While you're standing up ordering your drink, you've got to have your mask on until you're sitting down at the table. So then you can drink it. There's definitely no dance floors or anything like that. No parties of any kind. There was a party once during COVID on the news. Had about 30 people. Every single one of them got a fine of about $10,000 or something. Okay, so being very careful not to lift that. Treating it like it's the most fragile Mona Lisa painting. So there's still no lift at all after 5 days, nearly 6 days. Yeah, I haven't been on the walk. Maybe I'll go now. I've got to walk around the block at least. I've got to get into a habit of at least walking around the block. It's unacceptable. Or at least go outside the house, take the garbage out or something. I should do that. I'll do that. I realised I might go to the pub, so I thought I might as well do it nicely. And it might be windy or some other thing, so I should get into the habit of making sure my hair looks nice every single day, really, instead of the scraping look. As you get more fit and healthy looking, which I'm not, which is why I'm going for a walk, I think the neatness, not too neat, not plucked eyebrows neat, but definitely trimmed eyebrows, and not dandruffy eyebrows either, Jesus. Shouldn't use the Lord's name in vain. Wow, I have no idea why I've got so much dandruff in my eyebrows. Look at that. Is that disgusting? Do you think skin flaking off somebody's body or dandruff is disgusting? It's not disgusting like boogers are disgusting though, is it? I wonder why it's on my right hand side and not on my left hand side. Alright, so I've shown you how to cut your eyebrows with scissors before, but I think 9. I'll start with 9. 9mm. It might not do anything because it's probably a bit long. I don't really want to thin them down. See, when you thin things down, it ends up looking like this. How do you get rid of dandruff? Moisturizer. Hey, I actually have some. My mum stayed here once. Alright. This is Nivea moisturizer. Which I never use. Probably should. Apparently, if you keep your skin wet, moist, it doesn't dry out and end up creating huge bags and all that sort of stuff. I should probably do this now that I'm getting old. Although when you sweat it drips down into your eyes, doesn't it? Very, very careful not to touch the hairline there. My eyes will probably start stinging later because it'll just gradually fall down into my eyes. I have 50 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hard as a rock. All right, I'm gonna go for a walk now. Take the garbage out, walk down the street. It is that time, so is it Tuesday? I'm supposed to do something tomorrow, but I'm not speaking to my family, so I'm not going. Anyway, I walked 2.2 kilometers, which is just like a mile and a bit, maybe a mile and a quarter. No pubs were open, everything was absolutely dark, except McDonald's. And there are all these young people. I can't tell if they're 12 or 22. I don't know, they look so fucking young. Some of them had some facial stubbles, so they weren't 12. But just seeing the little knickerbockers rolled up at the ankle, which was always the thing that only gay people did in my day. And the fact that I can say in my day reiterates what I was thinking when I was there. I'm an old man. These people are young enough to be my kids. Easily. I could have had a kid when I was 13. Don't think. No, I definitely didn't. Your hand can't get pregnant, can it? So, they're young. I'm old. Imagine me going to a bar now. I'd be the old fucking man. I'm the old man. I think the day's done. Most people are paired up by now. I had girlfriends in the past, but I didn't want to keep them. The first one I kind of did, but then she felt I was being too clingy. So I kept my distance for a week because I was passionately in love with her. And then after a week, she said, that's a good amount of space. So we haven't even spoken to each other all week. And I wrote her a letter. We were writing lots of love letters and everything, back and forth. And she was like recording tapes and singing songs to me and everything. But that was when I was 16. But yeah, after that week, I was like, no, you don't love me as much as I love you. I'm gonna have to break up just so I feel less pain. And then, so after that, after we broke up, I never stopped thinking about it. With every girlfriend I ever had, she was always on my mind. 14 years of me looking around whenever there's somebody with long black hair. I'd always think it was her. I didn't think it was her, I was just checking to see if it was her. Every public transport, everywhere, I didn't know where in the world she was. Turns out she was married with kids. But there was no one to tell me that, so I didn't know. And yeah, 14 years later, she came to my house. I don't know how she found out where I lived. She put a peach in the letterbox and I went out. It was raining. She was in the car. I was like, who's that? And she got out and she was much taller than I thought. She was probably up to there. And I sat in the car with her and she was like thinking about stuff or whatever. And I put my hand on her knee and said it was okay. And she said, "Don't you fucking touch me, I'm married." Right? But by the end, I felt like I had a bit of closure. I didn't miss her as much. I mean, it wasn't good closure, it wasn't great closure, but it was something. And I just decided, that's closure. I haven't ever had that with my father. Something I could just say, that'll do, that'll have to do. So I can just move on. Because I couldn't move on. I couldn't love, I couldn't trust. I still can't love and trust now. If you can't trust, you can't love. If you can't love, you can't be happy. I mean, I'm miserable. Walking that walk that I just did, I was miserable thinking bad thoughts. I had this headset on, couldn't decide what to listen to. I was thinking my own thoughts, even though stuff was happening on the radio or the podcasts that I was choosing, but in the end, I couldn't be fucked. When I get to McDonald's, I feel like an old fat man. I'm sucking my guts in like this. I want to be a fat old man. At least I wasn't a fat, bald old man. Didn't catch anyone staring at my hairline. Maybe they were staring at the back of my head if that's shiny. None of them had a little monk patch. But I'm pretty sure that other bars and clubs, there are people older than me. I'm not just the old one, am I? 43. I had a 3-year relationship once. I always thought, I need to go out and have one-night stands for a while. But I've never really managed to do that. I've been to pubs so many times, maybe 1 in every 1,000 times I've been to a pub, I've had a one-night stand. Even if a girl was sort of smiling at me and doing the ear tuck with her hair, I still be like, you know, I couldn't even look her in the eye. I was too scared. I am still too scared. It's too scared. But I've always been on stage in front of the camera and stuff. I don't give a fuck about that. It's people I'm scared of, not you. You're just a little black dot. I can always talk to you. Anyway, maybe I'll go watch a movie or something. Maybe I should try to take some sleeping tablets and lie there for another 25 hours or something. It's now day 6. Sorry, do you want to have a look? There you go. Pervert. Yeah, oh yeah, fucking you check off to that fucking hairline. So it's well and truly day 6 now. 10:30 in the morning. I don't know why I woke up so early. Hairline's still perfect. Just doing this hasn't lifted anything. There's been 0 lift. I haven't lifted it. I've always worn it back for 6 days. This brush back system, technique, method, leaving it brushed back. If you've got it brushed back on the first day and you leave it brushed back every single day and you don't do that with it ever in the shower or anything else, and I don't know if it's necessary, the way I wait after I have a shower for it to dry naturally, I don't know if that's necessary, but it's definitely working from me being careful. I've never been this careful. Hopefully I don't have to be this careful all the time. But without any of that leverage, because I always try to do the brush forward look. Sometimes you see how often I try to brush my hair to try to get it perfect. If I just stay with a brush back kind of look, it stays. And with the hairspray, it can't move. So, very impressed. This is very good. It's already day 6. I have a feeling this could last for the full 2 weeks until my stubble grows through and the glue is completely deteriorated. Unfortunately, during this test, I haven't really sweated that much. Oh, yes, I have. I was sweating like crazy yesterday when I walked to McDonald's. I walked 2.2 kilometers, and there was McDonald's full of people, and I was embarrassed because I was sweating all over. I really was sweating. But I wasn't sweating for hours. I was just sweating for maybe 1 hour. But still, it didn't cause any problems. I've decided to have lunch. Wow, now I can see more clearly. My mum just rang. I didn't answer. I've just decided to have lunch with my family. I can't believe the word mum now looks to me like a word of pain. It used to be a word of comfort. She's in her 70s now. Strange. I never thought of her as older than, well, younger than I am now. Such is life. I've decided to go and see them for lunch. I was going to have a shower, then I thought, I just had one about, I don't know, a few hours ago. No. Recent enough. I only slept for 4 hours. I'm just going to neaten my hair up a bit. I really love this t-shirt. Made by, say, Harvest. My mum's at the front door, I guess. No, it's taken all my strength to summon. I'm not answering that. Wow, everything's so blurry. Apparently your cornea swells by 4% when you sleep. Those straight lines at the front don't look right. I'm usually very embarrassed about that sort of thing. It doesn't look right at all. Do you see them? Those like 6 straight lines right there at the front. And the density's not big enough to cover it up. And then this whole fluffiness from the... There'll be a knock at the door any second. Very hiding. I feel like the thinning scissors have kind of ruined my hair. I'm sure I didn't do it correctly. There's no lifting in any way whatsoever. No trickles or beads of glue. Which leads me to suspect that every time there's a tiny bit of glue that suddenly appears, it's because I've lifted it up and down and it's sort of shifted. But since I haven't touched it for 6 days, though I have had showers, but I was always gentle with the washing of the hair and everything. It's neat, but I feel like it doesn't look right. I just don't look right. I'll wear a shirt over the top of this. We'll get an Uber. Okay, so I washed my tongue from the coffee and put this shirt on. There's something a bit weird about my face at the moment. There's also those little divots from wearing the glasses, but Those lines, I wish they would just go away. They've been there for my whole life basically, but obviously much worse since I haven't been sleeping at night for the last 25 years or something. Feels a bit too neat. Yeah, so if your eyes are blurry in the morning, it's because your corneas swell throughout the night. The reason I know this is because I was looking at some videos about what it feels like to wear contact lenses, and you're never supposed to sleep in them because little infections can occur, and your cornea needs to breathe oxygen, and the contact lenses don't let much oxygen through. Some of them are rated higher to let more oxygen through, but generally it causes massive eye problems, including potentially blindness. So I'm not really sure if I want contact lenses yet, because I haven't even given glasses a good go. I hardly ever wear them. But I'll tell you what, I can see it so much more clearly. Like right now, just trying to read the numbers on the screen. That right eye especially is very, very blurry. Anyway, I'm gonna go see my family. Fuck it. Hey guys, I'm just listening to Stephen Colbert. He's on YouTube in the other room. I just bought this. In fact, I bought 5 of them. $9 each. That means I get to listen through headphones that don't block my ears from hearing the world around me, that allow airflow. They come with a microphone, which can be a hassle sometimes, because it's got a 4-pole, 3.5mm plug, or jack. Yeah, $9. I don't know how long the batteries last on these ones, but I got 5 of them. They were $9 each, 45 bucks, including delivery. So, it's day 7. I went with the family, saw my mum, we reunited, hugged, said I love you, etc. Okay, and the rest of the family. We just got drunk together and stuff. Or I drank a lot, didn't actually feel drunk. I am sweaty, right? Now you can see my forehead moving back and forth, right? At the top where the hairline meets, right there. And yet the hairline is not moving back and forth. The hairline is remaining stationary. So maybe it's so sweaty between there, right? Can you see that or not? Because I'm zoomed right into that spot with my eyes right now. Look, can you see that or not? On this little screen, I can't see that it is showing you anything at all. Because I know that if I go in here like this, where it would be zoomed in, I think it's really blurry. Or maybe my eyes are just blurry and the camera's completely in focus. But look at that. It looks like my forehead's moving back and forward, but the hairpiece is staying still. To me, that means if I tried to lift that a little bit, it would just come off because there's too much sweat. But it's not. It's not. I'm not putting much pressure, I'm putting a little bit of pressure. Like, you know, over the last 7 days, this is day 7, right? Over the last 6 days, I've been very delicate with the front hairline. Sorry, I've got acid reflux. I have it all the time now, I'm old. I need some Gaviscon. Anyway, just showing you, day 7, the hairpiece is still perfectly intact. I was out all day, bright sunshine, at the lunch table with family and waiters, and nobody was sitting there going, what can I get you? None of that was happening. So I don't think really anyone noticed. I also had glasses on as well. I think that also distracts from anyone looking at the hairline completely. Although I don't think, see, there was a phase when I had a big broken nose before I had it fixed. I still can't breathe through it properly. They didn't fix it. I had 2 operations. They pulled out parts of my brain and everything. I was just fixated on people's noses everywhere. Noses. Now for me, it's all like hairline. So whatever you're thinking about, you'll be looking at it, right? For most people who are not fixated with some part of their body they want to change, They'll just be going genital, genital, genital. I want to fuck that. I want to fuck that. I want to fuck that. Unless you're like a motherly type person, you go, oh, isn't that cute? That's so sweet, beautiful. Or, you know, somebody who likes flowers might be, oh, that's not a very nice flower. I love those flowers. They're fantastic. Or if you're looking for four-wheel drives for sale, you think, yeah, that looks better with the heightened suspension. Whatever you're thinking about, you'll find more of them that week. So I don't think everyone's just concentrating on your hairline unless there's something visibly wrong with it. I would prefer that my hair wasn't so thinned out like that, especially in broad daylight. I get the feeling that the plastic, when I put hairspray on, might become even ultra plasticky plus reflective hairspray, you know? I want some aromatherapy. Like aromatherapy. This just smells good. So, this house, this building, this apartment building, I don't know if I'm the only one making noise in it because I can never hear anyone's TV, anyone's door opening or closing, anyone talking ever. And I get the feeling that I'm the only one making any noise at this time of night. I can't hear another fucking person in this whole building. But if the gate opens or closes or something while I'm talking to you like this, I'll think, shit, somebody's slamming the door angrily because they're hearing about me when they're trying to sleep. But I'm not talking loud, am I? I'm inside a bathroom. Maybe it's echoing around and blasting out throughout the building and rattling the rafters. Anyway, just want to show you, this is day 7. The hairline is still perfect. I haven't done any touch-ups at all. Nothing. I've just been careful and continued having the brush back look every single day. It's good, isn't it? It's 2 p.m, nearly 3. I just woke up. What do you think? Any good? Yeah, it's perfect still. I haven't fucked with it. Probably have a shower now. Day 7. How's that? I'm a little community concert. What's the hairline? Can you see better from this camera? This is day 7 without any touch-ups at all. I'm just at some community concert thing. What do you think? Pretty good, isn't it? Once again, it's those straight lines that look unrealistic right at the front there. But there's no lift in any way whatsoever. Okay, I can't see myself, but you guys wanted to see some sunshine on the hair. I think this lens is better for that. Can you see? How's that? Thanks. Thank you. You too. I'm gonna go rehearse. I've got a gig coming up. My first gig. So now I've got to rehearse. But the I don't know my songs yet. My equipment needs tweaking. Okay, so I've been a bit sleep deprived lately. Let me just look at this hairline for a second. So it feels a bit sticky, but then again, my whole body feels sticky from the heat of the day. There's probably a bit of stickiness from glue, maybe here. This is day 7, but it hasn't been shifted. No hairs have been pulled out. You can see the sweat beading off my forehead right now. Yeah, overall, I'd say there's been 0 lift in a week. There you go, that's the best I can show you. My hairstyle is irrelevant, you agree with that? Since this is an experiment to show how the hairline could remain intact over a period of 1 week from simply not touching it. The problem in terms of aesthetics is that the roots are dark and they're straight lines all the way along the front. So we've always got that problem, whether it's lace or poly. Although with medium density poly, this would not have become so visible because the hairs are just, at the moment it's like that instead of like that. So you can see right through to that, you understand? If it's double thickness, you're not gonna see the little root lines there, especially through all this and everything. Fuck, I gotta sit down. There, 1 week, no lift.